This would be a guess on my part, but I can make an educated guess that my service will not extend past the current term of this grand jury, which will expire by July 1.
"300 children paid tribute to rookie policeman Carl Cooke today. 3 weeks ago, Cooke was gunned down and killed by a burglar. Only 20 years old, he was nominated before his death as Rookie of the Year. But in his off hours, he was baseball and football coach for a group of young boys. Now the boys don't have a coach, and they miss him. So with school almost over, all of the children at Jefferson Davis Elementary honored the slain policeman. They placed American flags in every classroom. His widow, 19-year-old Sharon, was there, and so was one of Cooke's buddies, Officer Larry Reed.
He was a dedicated father and a dedicated police officer. I think there's one lesson that all of us can learn from Jack, and that was that never be afraid of a policeman. Policemen are here to help you. They're here to be friends to you, and I just want you all to remember that. If you see us on the street, wave at us. That's what we like to see. Come see us.
Did you think he was a good coach? What did he do sometimes with the team?
Well, like if somebody missed a play, and some coaches usually yell at him, Jack did. He'd, go over and pat his back and tell him to learn that play back over.
You know, there's an old cliche that a policeman is your best friend, and sometimes that might seem kind of trite. But for Officer Cooke's 14 young athletes, it's very true. Rookie policeman Carl Cooke was both a good coach and a good friend. Martha McIntire, Channel 8 News on the Move.
That the state pay raise and the state increment are joined together into two figures, which totals $306 a year for bachelor's degree teachers and $326 a year for master's degree teachers. $181 or $205 of this is also pay raise. Now, what we're proposing is that we give a bonus pay raise in addition to the state-adopted pay raise, of which we have to furnish our part.
We're not playing real good ball right now, but we're winning games, and I think we're going to get real hot where everybody's playing well together, and we're going to shoot out in the lead here pretty soon. We have good pitching, we have good hitting. A couple of our key players aren't hitting the ball real well right now, and as soon as they start hitting, then the club's going to start scoring more runs, and the game's going to be a little bit easier.
Can you recall some of your earlier days in Dallas, the teams you played on?
Oh yeah, I started in baseball in Dallas. I played in the Park and Recreation League at WFAA Park, and from there I played with in the BBI at the time was the name of the league, and I played for the Cats there and the Indians, and right on up the ladder. Then I went to junior high school at LV Stockard, and I played baseball there, and left Dallas in '59 when I got out of junior high school.
Were you a catcher in your Dallas career?
I was a catcher all the way. I originally, the first time I went out for a team, I went out for third base, and I couldn't throw the ball from third to first, so they cut me from the team, and then a couple of days later they realized they didn't have anybody to catch, so they asked me if I'd like to catch, and that's how I got started catching.
Well, man, if you couldn't throw it from third to first, how were you from home to second?
Well, I wasn't any better, but they didn't have anybody else that wanted to get back there, so I just wanted to play ball, and I got back there, and I learned a little bit about the games.
When did you develop your power?
Well, I don't know. It seems like I've always been able to hit the ball a long way, but I had never been able to do it with any consistency. Then when I started playing pro ball, the home runs weren't so important. Then I wanted to learn how to hit because it was embarrassing striking out 2 or 3 times a game, so I tried to learn how to hit the ball. And I had one big year in the minor leagues where I hit a lot of home runs, but in the big leagues, last year was the most I'd hit with 15, and last couple of years I've just been trying to learn to hit. And now I feel better at the plate and more confident, and so I'm not trying to hit home runs. I'm just trying to hit the ball and let the home runs come.
I think the most serious offense is the last-minute slander sheet. For example, in this last primary election, 2 to 3 days before the election, there were 2 smear sheets that came out. One of them, which I think the camera can pick up, as you can see, stated that Albert Lipscomb and Dick Reed were running together and favored certain things, including open housing, welfare increase, and so forth. This is unfair to both of these candidates. Also, you will note that this is unsigned. This is contrary to and violative of Section 1410 of the Election Code, which says that every piece, I think the language used in political advertising, every piece of political advertising must be signed. A second smear sheet is this one that was put out against Jim Mattox, showing him handcuffed at the time of the Lee Park arrests. This also is unsigned and is violative of Section 1410 of the Election Code. Both of these offenses, if the person responsible for issuing them or printing them is convicted, call for a fine of $100. However, this particular one against Mattox was mailed to all of the voters in his district, we understand. I do not know how many are in the district, but if the grand jury were to indict as one offense the mailing of one of these, then you can easily see that the $100 fine could mount into many thousands of dollars. Now, the reason I think this is the most serious unfair campaign practice is that it always happens at the last minute, and no one has an opportunity to deny them or to investigate the charges made. So my suggestion to the voters is ignore the last-minute smear tactic.
Well, you know, for years, labor and management has been standing off hollering at each other, and you know, when 2 people are hollering, there's nobody left to listen. So we decided that in realizing our problems and also that management had some problems, we decided to get together and see if we couldn't resolve some of these problems.
Cipriano Alonso is a sign painter. On his money, you just can't afford to go out and replace a TV, stereo, and a pair of wide-angle binoculars when your house is burglarized. Today, Cy was notified that his binoculars had been recovered, and that because he had engraved his driver's license number on them, they could be returned to him immediately. The burglary took place a couple of weeks back, and Monday, Dallas officers arrested 2 men who had some 40 items of stolen merchandise in their possession, including Cy's binoculars. The engraving of a driver's license number on the private property for identification purposes was started last November in Dallas. Cy's case is only the 4th time the program is clicked. With only 6,000 or so names on record with the SIS system, it really can't do the job it's capable of doing. The TV and the stereo may turn up any time now, but at least Cy's got back his binoculars to watch those Cowboy games this fall. Malcolm Landers for Channel 8 News on the Move.
because I am
Normally, when a political reporter comes to a political rally such as this one, he expects something fairly dull. But Sissy Farenthold had Willie Nelson and his band here to play for her, and she had Marlo Thomas here to speak for her here in the park. But Sissy also spoke for herself.
That particular topic is in relation to the airport. The airport is scheduled to open in 1973, as we understand it, and we feel that we should begin now looking ahead and trying to anticipate and plan what law enforcement in this area should do to handle these problems as they arise.
Do all metropolitan police departments in this area feel that crime will be on the increase? And if so, how much?
Well, I can't quote or comment from all the other departments. This seems to be the general feeling.
Thank you all for coming here to listen to my wife, and here I am as sports substitute. I'm second best, but she's the best in the West. Wants to face, and you've all heard of many times on discussing these things on television otherwise. They've accused of wanting put marijuana in vending machines and all these type of. Oh yes, Sissy will be there then.